Welcome to Sinister Studies. My name is Kim, and I'm joined each week by my kiddo Ben, where we'll discuss all things sinister up to and including high school. As with all things sinister, listener discretion is always advised.
We go back to school this month.
I know.
I don't wanna.
I know. Like we said last week, August is a very busy month for us.
I don't want to do this. And
you are almost at the finish line.
I know, which is upsetting.
Being at the finish line is upsetting.
Yes, because then I have to be a person after that. What am I right now?
You're a person.
No, but I don't have to provide for myself. I don't have adult responsibilities.
You will always have your parents.
Okay.
I'm not saying we're going to pay for you for everything for always in all times. Well, it's not going to happen.
Yeah.
But
I want to go to college for like a career. I want to go to college for funsies.
Well,
what's the one that's not 4 years?
Associates?
Yeah, that.
Okay. You can get your associates.
Because I was thinking, I was like, what if I truly don't know where the thought came from, but I was just like literally sitting scrolling my phone and I stopped and I paused. I was like, I could study linguistics.
You could. You're teaching yourself literally a handful of languages.
5 languages, and I'm aiming for a few more at least. I've got to properly learn ASL at some point.
I think that might be a good choice. Translators get paid.
I could be a translator. I could. You know those concert translators? Like at events they have? Like,
you want
concerts?
the ASL? You want to be the ASL translator?
I could be an ASL interpreter for a concert. That would be fun. Would that not be fun?
Yeah.
Like, I could do it.
The patients that have the ASL translator that come in, an appointment that is usually 30 minutes or less, have a 2-hour minimum that we have to pay them, and it's at least $75 an hour.
Yeah, $75 an hour?
Yeah.
I might have to. Shit.
It's ridiculous. And the language translators get paid also. You just have to learn some medical terminology.
Oh, I don't want to do it for doctors' offices.
No, I'm just saying, like...
You're just saying your experience with it?
We do have some, yes.
What, like Spanish?
Spanish. We have a Chinese guy. We have a couple of ASL people.
How many interpreters do you
We have some guy that speaks some weird Haitian Creole mix.
That freaky ass dialect. With
yeah.
all due respect.
It's kind of Spanish, but kind of French. And
did you hear that there's like a new language or like very distinctive dialect developing in Miami?
I did not hear that. What are they calling this?
I'm not sure. I forgot. But
it's not Spanglish?
No.
What is it? A hybrid of all the Caribbean?
It is like
Spanishes?
Obviously, like it's a mix between like Spanish and English, but it's distinctive. Like it has their own like words, grammaticals and stuff. But I don't know if it's like a language or a dialect. I don't know what they're calling it. New language, Miami. Are you going to tell me what it's called? New language discovered to be developing in the United States. Okay, what do they call it?
Not telling you?
I don't know. Anyway. Meow. I don't know. But, yeah, currently, for all the listeners, I am learning Greek. I'm kind of learning Spanish. I skipped 20 units on Duolingo Spanish the other day. And then I proceeded to do a lesson, like, to the one I skipped to 20 units later, and I did everything perfectly. I literally skipped 20. Okay, and then I'm learning Latin, because that's always useful. And then Italian. So, yeah.
That is very impressive.
Just to flex on all you guys. I'm multilingual and you're not. Anyway.
They made me take Latin 2, even though I never took Latin 1. I passed in my own special way.
What do you mean?
You can fit pieces of paper about that wide in the hem of your skirts. That is how I passed Latin 2 without ever taking Latin 1.
It's okay. It's been plenty of years at this point. The statute of limitations is kind of went out.
Oh my God.
We're good.
You've already graduated. Dead. That's the same teacher that gave me detention for wearing men's socks.
That's insane. I told Helena about that because I don't know how it came up that you went to Catholic school. But I was like, yeah, what time she got detention for wearing men's socks?
Yep.
Bro couldn't believe it. Bro was flabbergasted. That's actually insane. Why did you have to learn Latin?
Because it's Catholic school.
Oh.
And I passed Spanish only because I could understand almost everything that was said to me, but I couldn't read it and I couldn't write it.
That's so fair. I'm the opposite. I can see a language and I know exactly what language it is. Even languages I don't know. Like, you show me Japanese and Korean and Thai and Mandarin and I'm like, okay, this one's this one, this one's this one. Like, I don't know why I can just recognize languages visually, but spoken, I have heard people speak English and I thought they were speaking a completely different language. I cannot distinguish
to
languages
be fair,
audibly.
There are people that speak terrible English.
But it's like, I don't even know. I heard somebody speaking like Russian or something, and I thought they were speaking not Russian. It was something closer to like, I thought they were speaking a Romance language, but it definitely wasn't. I don't remember what it was, but
so yeah.
Okay.
We are recording today because we were too hot and everyone was too cranky and too hungry to record yesterday. And today it's even hotter.
Yay! What's degrees is it right now?
Too many degrees.
80 something. And the humidity, it's so bad today. It's been so bad.
Well, that's because it poured earlier.
Did it?
Or was that yesterday? I don't even know.
Heat advisory is out for today and tomorrow. Humidity, today's average, 81%. Why is Bro texting me? Well, Gianna posted me for...
What?
I'm reading the tea. Apparently it's girlfriend day.
Girlfriend day?
I wouldn't know that. I don't have one.
Okay. I didn't see that on Facebook, so I didn't know it either. So, as we established earlier,
Oh, fuck.
That's weird. This is our last recording before we take our last episode before we take a hiatus. I'm sure we'll record here and there.
But you just don't want to have to be pressured to edit it on like a timeline like that.
Well, I mean, August is busy.
Yeah.
We go back to school. Hockey starts again. There's birthdays.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's a lot. It's a lot. So in light of the birthdays that are fast approaching, 17 days now.
The birthday.
Birthday.
There's only one of them.
The birthday for the two childrens that I.
Oh yeah, we are twins, by the way.
The birthday for the twins, which I never referred to them as the twins because that really always bothered me.
Why?
Because I wanted you guys to be distinctly your own people. I didn't want people to refer to you as a unit. That's so fair.
Because, like, I don't know.
I didn't want...
Truly, we exist in the most different circles.
And people who dress their kids in matching outfits.
Oh my god. No, that irritates me. That when they name their kids basically the same thing, and they give them the same haircuts, and they dress them all the same. Like,
and I know somebody whose daughter-in-law dresses all of her children in the same, like they all match. They're all perfectly matching. And I said, what happens when they start wanting to start cultivating their own style, which happens, and it happens for many, many years before you even find remotely close to what you want to look like. And then that changes eventually anyway.
Or if you just do whatever you want, like,
truly. You wore butterfly wings for a month solid once.
Okay, and I look good doing it.
You did. Your brother rocked an Iron Man helmet for about a year. It's so you guys are definitely your own people, and I didn't want. It always bothered me. I never referred to you as the twins. I always referred to you as your names. I made a habit of it. Some people that did not take. Some people referred to you as the twins for quite a while.
Wait, who?
Your aunt.
Which one?
Titi.
Which one?
No, just Titi, not Titi Loca. Well, occasionally Titi Loca calls you the twins. Huh?
They're both my Titi.
I know. Yeah, but when there's Titi and Titi Loca. But
Titi Loca, we call her that, but she's not the most. I feel like the other one's more loca. Dare I say?
We call Titi Loca that because your cousin, who's closest in age to you,
okay,
when they were very small, somehow started calling her Titi Loca.
So we're just caught on?
Yes. And your father thought it was hilarious, so then taught you guys to call her Titi Loca.
Damn, that's crazy. Is she the oldest?
Yeah. She is 10 years older than your father.
How old is Titi?
I want to say she's 2 years younger. So she's going to be 48, I think.
How old is Ed? I'm realizing I don't know any of this.
40.
40? When was his birthday?
March.
Mm. Meow. Damn, that's crazy. So he's not that much older than him. Like, at all.
Ed?
Yeah.
No, he's basically 1 year and 28 days older than your father.
So like 13 months.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
No, thank you. But those are called Irish twins, even though they're not Irish. They're called Irish twins when you have them really close together like that.
I'm just imagining like the strain on your body.
So Dad couldn't go to my first doctor's appointment with me because it was around Valentine's Day, and he was
business
store manager,
money
at the jewelry store. And so Grandma came to my first visit with me. So it's a little bit of invasive, the first ultrasound you get.
What do they like? Put it.
And Grandma, she stood by my head because she did not want to see my vagina. And I preferred it that way myself. And the doctor said, oh, and there's the other one.
The other one?
Yeah, all the way in the office. Grandma's like, haha, can we have twins? Haha. She was telling everybody. And that bitch got her wish.
Oh my God. Did they just say it like that? And there's the other one. Like,
yes, she did. And then I had to go downstairs and do some blood work. And there was a set of Irish twins downstairs. And they were girls. And I sat there and I looked at them. Mind you, I had stopped crying. Your father had called me back and apologized for hanging up on me by this point. Because he did. He hung up on me when I told him.
Why?
Because he was at work and he told me to call him when I was done so I could tell him how the appointment went. So I called him in the hallway and I said, I just got out of the doctor's appointment. He goes, well, how did it go? What did they say? And I said, there's two. And he said, no, there's fucking not. And he hung up the phone. And then he called his mother, your grandmother, and he said, can you believe what she just told me? And your grandmother was like, you need to call her back.
Oh.
Because that is not something that she would lie about.
Did he think
thought
you
I
were,
was
like joshing him? Like,
yes. Yes, he did. So, yeah, and I saw those Irish twins in the lab after that, and I started to cry because I was like, I can't have two girls.
You wanted two girls?
No, I said I can't have two girls. And
you didn't want two girls?
Grandma goes, but why? And I was like, I wouldn't even know what to do with them. Because I am...
You have like 1.5.
I'm not the most feminine of...
Or you have a half.
Oh.
I have a half of I don't know what I am, Mom. Really, it's not my concern.
It's not. You are who you are.
That much.
But I did not want to. That was for damn sure. Because I am
the balance.
I am not the princesses and pink and glitter and... I was totally afraid that that's what was going to come out if I had two girls. So, yeah, here we are.
That's crazy.
Yeah. I got my one of each, or when I got two children. That's what I got. I got two children, two distinct children, and there was no princesses. And
you got a boy and something southwest of that.
Alrighty then. So today's episode is going to be a twin case.
Yay! Are they gonna kill each other?
No, nobody dies.
Nobody dies?
Nobody dies. There's nothing terrible. I mean, it's terrible, but it's not like...
It's not like...
Okay, somebody does die. Somebody does die. It's not a violent crime.
Okay.
There's no crime involved.
Okay, and
it's just a sinister thing.
So, it's okay. I have...
As we know for twins, identical twins are identical. They are born from the same egg and the same little sperm. fraternal twins, such as yourself and Bean. 2 eggs, 2 sperms, 2 children.
I wish I got a G low-key.
And as my public service announcement for today, since I do occasionally have public service announcements.
Ooh, we get one?
Don't get knocked up right after you stop taking birth control pills. So apparently, what can happen when you are on birth control pills, because it regulates your cycle very precisely, is as soon as you stop, your ovaries are like, whoa, party!
They're like, we can get pregnant!
And they just start dropping eggs left and right for a little while. And it takes, apparently, this fucking bitch.
This dog doesn't want to hear it. Piper, you can't get pregnant anyway. Bitch.
So, yes.
Oh my god.
Go bark somewhere else.
Be gone, foul creature.
Yes, so, yeah. So, apparently they suggest you wait a couple months, but that didn't happen because I got pregnant almost immediately.
Oh, you were on birth control?
Yes.
Oh, so
yeah. I stopped taking birth control at the end of October after we saw My Chemical Romance and Bon Jovi in New Jersey.
Dad was telling me about that.
Right after that is when I stopped taking my birth control.
So you got pregnant right after you saw MCR and Bon Jovi in New Jersey?
Mm-hmm.
Damn.
Yep. So
I feel bad that y'all didn't go to any concerts for like 13 years after we were born. I feel bad.
It happened.
Like I held y'all, and especially Dad. I held y'all back from all those.
No, your dad held me back. I wanted to go see Tom Petty on his last go around through, which happened to be about 4 months before he died. And Dad was like, "Oh, I'm not paying that much for a fucking concert ticket." And
damn, that's crazy.
I almost kicked your father's ass.
I guess it makes sense. Kids are expensive.
They are. She is trying to steal burgers again.
Bitch! You wretched abomination! Piper, you're so silly.
Anyhow,
Peppa.
So, fraternal twins generally come from the mother's side because if your mom lays extra eggs, you're more likely to lay extra eggs.
Oh. Does that mean I am?
Twins also happen more frequently in geriatric pregnancies, which they considered me a geriatric pregnancy at 29 years old.
Not even 30?
I was 28 when I got pregnant.
Not even 30?
Not even 30. They told me I was 20. I was a geriatric pregnancy. So twins actively socialize with each other in the womb.
Can confirm. I mean, I don't remember being in the womb.
You can see ultrasound images of babies holding hands in the womb. I mean, obviously they're identical twins because they're in the same sac, but you couldn't hold hands with your brother because you were in different sacs, but you could bump each other, give each other some fist bumps.
What was that?
Humans frequently develop their own method of communication.
Like in the womb or outside? Like
outside.
As babies? We did that.
Yeah, you did.
Yeah,
you did. And sometimes I almost thought like it was telepathic. Because you guys would be sitting there in silence and you would just look at each other and bust out laughing. You would also start babbling back and forth at each other. We didn't know what you were saying. You guys knew what each other were saying and thought it was fucking hilarious.
Maybe we were just funny.
Yeah. You also had quite a odd symbiotic relationship. You would somehow get your brother to open doors for you.
I couldn't open doors?
No, you could open doors.
Oh, I just didn't want to.
When you guys were learning to escape the baby gate, he would be the one that scaled the baby gate and then pull it up for you.
What, because I didn't want to?
Pretty much. Some conjoined twins can actually hear each other's thoughts.
That's crazy. I don't like that. That feels invasive.
Lucky you. Just wanted to tell you, mothers of twins live longer.
Yay!
Whoop, whoop. That's because we're birthing children in our geriatric years.
Does in your geriatric years, you were 28, Mom. 29?
I was 29 when you were born.
Oh, so you were were you geriatric?
That's what they told me. I was geriatric.
That's bizarre.
Identical twins that are separated at birth statistically tend to lead parallel lives.
That's crazy.
Like, both will get into the same line of work. Both will marry women of a certain, like, if they're boys or, whoever they marry, both will marry people that look similar.
That's crazy.
They'll name their children similar names, if not exactly the same names. Twins can appear to have two different fathers, depending on how the disbursement of the genetic pool ends out. Somebody I work with has twins. He is white. Her ex-husband is black. In her twins, their skin tones, one is much, much darker. The other one is very light. But they're twins. I mean, they're definitely twins. You can tell. Just like you got the heavy ethnic genes, but Logan looks more ethnic.
What's it called? Oh my god. The fuck. I did not take honors bio to forget all of this.
Are you looking it up?
Yes. The phenotype. If that's the part of the gene that's like visual, like visually expressed. He got
a lot of my white genes, but
yeah, he's a lot more genetically white than me, but he looks like a quarter British. That's disgusting. I hate the British. That's crazy. And he looks like you would not know. You would not know he's mixed.
No, you would never know. Even as babies. Like, look at the difference. I mean, obviously you come out a different color than you end up, but like,
yeah. And he just tans so fast.
He does.
That's also because he goes outside more. I was talking to what's her name? Whoa, she's straight up the school psychologist, the social worker, and she has been for 2 years, and I've known her for 2 years.
I don't know what to tell you.
And I can't remember. Listen, it's not important. She was like, oh, because it was literally like the last like week of school. So like a couple months ago. She was like, you're a twin. I'm like, yeah. Because I don't know. It came up. And she's like, oh, what does he look like? I'm just like, Not really like me. Like, everything is darker.
Be like, go look for the ethnic one in the class. I don't know.
She looked him up on Skyward.
The school pictures are taken right after summer too.
Oh yeah. Well, I like that because I get to be not pasty in my school photos.
Yeah, that's true.
I was pasty as shit in that one though. Okay. Although it was October.
Yeah. So, just like puppies.
Puppies, what?
You could have a multi-father litter.
You can?
Yes, you can.
That's crazy.
If you drop 2 eggs and
you're hoeing it up?
You're hoeing it up. Yeah, one, you can get impregnated by 2 different people, and you can actually get impregnated at 2 different times. So the babies are not exactly the same age.
That's so weird.
Yeah.
Is that what happened to Pippa's mama?
Yeah, that is what happened to Pippa's mama. Pippa's mama was hoeing it up.
Pippa's mama was hoeing up. Where is Pippa? Is she... Piper? Pippi?
Identical twins, for obvious reasons, tend to be much closer alike than fraternal twins.
Oh my god.
And they are more like yin and yang. I know.
My eyes.
And also a twin can vanish or be absorbed by the mother, or in some cases
the other twin?
Yes. So there are cases where somebody finds out later in life that they
absorbed their twin in the womb.
Yes, like I read one case at one point. It was a while ago. I don't know the specifics, but he or the person was having migraines and was having like weird things going on. So they did a scan and it looked like they had a tumor in their brain. And when they finally cut him open to remove the tooth, it was like there was like fucking teeth in his brain. Like he absorbed the twin. And there was like residual twin.
That's whack.
Which is weird.
No me gusta.
And the likelihood of being a twin is 4 in 1,000. Natural twin. We're not talking about.
What do you mean? We're not talking.
We're not talking about like IVF and stuff because that's a whole other bag of worms.
Can you like purposely have twins with that?
So when they do IVF, they will usually implant multiple embryos. And then whatever takes. I'm going to tell you a story. I almost told you a story about these 2 twins I may in the future. One identical twins and one twin committed like a crime and knew he would leave DNA evidence and just like pieced out and hoped that his identical twin would take the blame.
That's crazy.
Yeah. But these are not those twins. We are going to talk about the silent twins.
The fuck that's whack. That's like really ominous sounding.
So June and Jennifer were born April 11th, 1963 in Yemen at a Royal Air Force hospital. Their parents were Gloria and Aubrey, who were both from Barbados. By all accounts, Jennifer was the more dominant twin, despite being born 10 minutes after June. They were also said to be normal babies. And later in 1963, the family would move to Yorkshire. I don't know how they say it over there, England. As toddlers, it became more apparent that the girls had some sort of speech problem. Their first words were very delayed, and they seemed to only know a handful of words. They would make the normal babbling sounds, make noises, hand gestures, but their vocabulary seemed to be stunted. And when they did speak, it was very, very fast. In 1967, their sister Rosie was born, and then in 1971, the family relocated to Devon. The girls enrolled in school. Unfortunately, the area as a whole had very few people of color. Their family were the only Black children in the school. They did have an older brother. They were subjected to merciless harassment. They would be called names, their hair would be pulled, and they felt so alienated by this that the two made a pact. They wouldn't speak to anyone.
That's honestly kind of fair.
They would only speak to each other. And when they were 11, they were relocated again, this time to Haverford West, which is in Wales. They were again enrolled in school, and again, the family were the only Black children at the school. And somehow the bullying here was even worse than at their last school. It was so bad, in fact, that instead of doing something about it, the school started letting the girls out 5 minutes earlier than the other students so they could get a head start on their walk home. So they were being physically abused by the other children as well. And people said that when they walked slowly. They were perfectly synchronized, walking in time with each other with their heads bowed. Which I feel could be pretty creepy.
Yeah, that's low-key horror movie shit.
No, it really is.
Like, I'm sure they were perfectly fine, but like,
but that's just
this is the image of it.
Yeah.
And so
the girls from The Shining. A doctor at school once stated that they were the exception. The doctor at school once stated that they were the exception. When it was time for them to get their shots because they were vaccinated in the school, there was no yelling, there was no temper tantrums. They just stood there non-reactionary and took the shots.
That's freaky, I'm sorry.
And they both did it. They were given their vaccines separately, and they both had the same reaction. He also referred to them as a variation of the N-word that was feminized.
Feminized?
Yeah.
I don't know if they did that.
I didn't write it down because I was just so appalled. I think he called them something like they were nigrous or something. It was weird. I'm like, what the fuck is wrong with these people?
Last I checked, that wasn't gendered either. Like, why are they gendering slurs? That's
yeah,
weird.
no, it was, yeah, I was appalled. Eventually, the girls were sent to a therapist, and after gaining a tiny bit of trust, they agreed that even though they wouldn't speak with the therapist, they would record themselves speaking to each other and then let the therapist listen to it. Because apparently nobody believed that they could talk. It turns out what the therapist heard was their secret language.
That's cool, low-key.
It was a mix of Barbadian and English. And it was spoken super duper fast. The therapist also noticed that Jennifer was definitely the alpha twin, controlling June.
Alpha twin?
By small facial movements. Like eye twitches would put June in her place.
That's crazy.
Like if June was doing something that Jennifer didn't want her to do, it wasn't even like the mom look. She would just like twitch and June would stop.
That's crazy.
The therapist eventually would decide to send the two to a special education facility, Of note, the parents say that these decisions were never presented to them, that they were told what the plan would be. So that they always said that they had no say in the plan. This school was much of the same, and they would slowly be, unfortunately, ostracized even from family events because of their behavior. People thought that they were morbid or freaky, so they started excluding them.
Even their own family?
Even their own family. So in 1977, when they felt like they had exhausted all options, the therapy team decided to separate June and Jennifer.
That's crazy.
When they were told of the new plans, the girls began screaming and fighting each other, having to need to be forcibly separated by the staff. They got a brief stay because of this reaction, and when they calmed down, they promised that they would talk, but unfortunately that talking was short-lived, and the girls were in fact separated. June fell into a deep depression to the point where the staff would have to move her. She didn't move of her own accord. They would prop her up in a sitting position. She was completely dead weight at all times.
But what did they expect? They took away the only person she had communication with.
Yeah. And Jennifer wasn't much better, but June was very bad. Like, she was very distraught. It was almost like she was comatose, but she was fully awake. So in 1979, at 16 years old, the two were reunited and sent home, where they shared a room and only communicated with themselves and their sister, Rosie. They only communicated with Rosie by notes. They slipped notes to Rosie.
Did they even still speak another language? Like, I'm sure they knew the language, but did they speak it?
They knew. Yeah, they knew English. They knew how to speak. They just chose not to.
Well, I don't know. After a certain amount of time, they hadn't been speaking English.
But the people around them were speaking English.
But still hearing and speaking it. It can be different.
That's valid.
Slightly different skills. Wait, how long were they separated?
2 years almost.
That's insane. That's bizarre.
During this time, they both discovered their love of writing. And they wrote a lot. They wrote an astounding amount. They wrote poems, they wrote essays. They also played with dolls, which they named after members of the family, and kept a log of the dolls' births and deaths and accidents and all that fun stuff.
That's crazy.
They would pool their money and enroll themselves in a creative writing class, which was done by mail or something like that. They didn't go in, but they got a creative writing class. They enrolled as one person because they both had aspirations of becoming authors. Jennifer would write 2 novels.
That's good for her.
And June wrote one, which was published. It was called The Pepsi Cola Addict. At 18, the girls were looking to become adults, and they wanted to get out there and have their own personalities and finally start socializing with people. Unfortunately, they hadn't done much of that as children, so they went about this in a very bizarre fashion. The two thought about it and decided that they would visit a boy named Lance Kennedy because he had defended them in school when they were being bullied. They tracked down his address, but unfortunately, he'd moved back to the U.S. They were expats. But his brothers still lived there. So, in 1981, they took a taxi to the home, but nobody was home.
Did they, stalk?
Oh, yeah. So they made themselves at home in these people's house. They left themselves in the house. The parents came home and felt really bad for them because they just stood there and cried. So they let them go. They didn't press charges for breaking and entering or anything like that.
And would you press charges if you found like two like teenage girls like standing in her house sobbing?
I don't even know. I
feel like that's a tough situation.
It really is.
Like, I feel bad if I did, but like also they're in my house, you know?
Unfortunately, they took this gesture a little too much to heart, and they kept taking taxis to the family's home.
Mm.
And June and Jennifer basically wore the family down, and eventually the 4 boys that lived there would hang out with them. June would later say that they would get all dressed up for these trips, wanting to appeal to the boys. And with these hangouts with the older boys, they discovered substances. They started drinking and smoking pot and whatever else they were doing. They found out that drinking would make it easier for them to talk to people, which is true. They said they felt better and freer than they had been. Jennifer would go on to lose her virginity to the youngest Kennedy boy.
How old was he?
I don't remember. In a church.
In a church?
Okay. With her sister looking on.
That's bizarre. Was he of age?
I don't know. I didn't get that from... I don't get it.
But the youngest out of all of them?
They were all older teenagers.
Okay.
Everybody was an older teenager. And the whole age thing was very different back then.
I know.
Very, very, very different back then.
I'm just like, was he a victim?
As much as it would be weird to us now because we're judging things in hindsight and by our modern...
When was this?
Oh, early 80s.
Okay. In the church with the sister watching. That's crazy.
Yes.
That's bizarre.
And not 2 weeks later, June would also lose her virginity to the very same boy.
I was going to say to the same one.
At this point, they were starting to see that they were toxic for each other.
What, the sisters?
The sisters. At least Jane did. She would write in her diary that Jennifer was cold and showed no respect, and that June was afraid of Jennifer. Afraid of Jennifer.
That's bizarre.
At the end of the summer, the Kennedy boys were set to move back to the United States. And in the fall of 1981, they were again lost with nothing to focus on. They developed a horrendous relationship with food in an attempt to insert control over their lives. They tried to alter their appearances with beauty products and magic.
And magic?
And magic.
Magic can only do so much.
During this time, June would write that the two have a love-hate relationship. She would also say how much she feared her sister and how much she wanted to get away. But with no idea on how to move on, their situation remained the same. In their boredom, they started a life of crime. They started stealing, breaking and entering, destruction of property, and they would eventually be caught breaking into a college, about to set the damn thing on fire.
Oh, so arson too?
Yep, attempted arson. They were arrested, and all their writing and journals were taken from their home. They were sent to a detention center together. They were also put in the same cell together. And while there, they prayed to be free of each other. June would write that they had become fatal enemies. She questioned if she could go on without her twin, though, because they had such a dependent relationship. And the two would fight.
Sorry, I do feel weird and I'm mad at myself. Okay, whatever. Okay, they fought?
A lot. And violently. A psychiatrist at the center decided that it would be in the best interest of everybody if the two were sent to a psychiatric facility, Broadmoor, which is a maximum security prison for the criminally insane. It is the only facility that would take the two of them.
That's insane. I mean, literally.
They would plead guilty to their crimes and would be sentenced to remain at Broadmoor indefinitely at 19 years old.
Indefinitely?
Indefinitely. While there, June attempted suicide and Jennifer would assault a nurse. And their terrible relationship with food would continue. They would either gorge themselves or starve themselves. And either one they did as a form of entertainment. They would see how long they could go without eating, drinking, or see how much they could eat. They flirted with the male patients. They also read every single book they could get their hands on. And after 12 years, they both appealed to the doctor on staff to be released. And the doctor told them that you aren't getting out. You're going to be here for 30 years.
30 years? And who decided that? Him at the moment?
Apparently, yes. June was desperate and even went so far as to write a letter to the Queen.
To the Queen?
Which unfortunately went unanswered because the Queen probably never even got it. You know, people read her mail. Or read her mail.
Well, yeah, she's dead now. In case anybody didn't know.
In case you missed it.
Yeah.
The two would repeat a vicious cycle over and over and over. They would fight very violently, be separated, become despondent, and then be reunited. In 1982, Marjorie Wallace, who was a journalist, heard about them and went to talk to their parents, who gave her all of their writings that they had left. She found that June and Jennifer were talented writers. They were also very, very intelligent. People equated them not talking to them not being smart, but in fact, they were very, very intelligent. They lived their lives through their writing. Marjorie would begin visiting the twins, who, when told that she'd read all of their writings, got very excited and wanted to hear her thoughts on them. Because it was somebody who was taking an interest in them as people, not as freaks.
Yeah.
In March of 1993, just shy of their 30th birthday, June and Jennifer were released to a new minimum security facility, and together they would take a bus there. In less than 12 hours later, Jennifer was dead.
Oh.
She had died of an undiagnosed cardiac issue. June would write in her journals that she was hysterical with grief.
Well, yeah.
And it seems that both June and Jennifer knew that neither one of them would have any sort of normal life if the two continued the way they were. And about a year later, June was released from the facility.
Good for her? Question mark? I don't know. Is this good? Is this bad?
She did a full interview at 37 when she left, after she had left the facility. She said she mourned the life that she missed out on. She had always wanted marriage and children, but she felt that she was too old at 37 for marriage and children. She told the reporter about her sister, "I used to miss her. Now I've accepted her. She's in me. She makes me stronger. I accept the fact that she's gone now. That took me 5 years of grieving, crying all the time, and now all my tears are gone. I don't get lonely now because I've got her, haven't I?"
So, like, that's weird. That's kind of a strange and ominous thing to say.
It is, but with the closeness of their relationship,
it's like they basically were each other to an extent.
and I mean, I read a lot of excerpts from their writing, and I didn't put all of that in there, but in a lot of excerpts, they would be things like, I am her and she is me. They would sometimes swap personalities, if you will. But, you know, just like them stopping talking, it was a defense mechanism. Today, June lives independently in West Wales near her family. She is active on Instagram.
What's her at? Do you have it?
Let me look it up. Is June.Allison.Gibbons. And she's beautiful.
Is she? Is she? How old is she at this point?
I want to say she was like in her 40s there.
Damn. She aged.
And I mean, you can
clear skin.
Look, there's a bunch of pictures of them as children. Her book was she does appear to be thriving.
Oh, good for her.
Last year, she also helped get one of Jennifer's books, which is called Disco Mania, published for the first time.
This bitch does not shut the fuck up.
Piper, stop.
Oh, you're yapping over Girly Pop.
So, yeah, she is thriving now. I hope all the best for her. And she endured some terrible, terrible shit.
Yeah. Hope she is well for real. How long have we been recording?
An hour and 6 minutes. And only half of that was the case.
Well, yeah. This one was this short. The occurrences in question. Not, not a whole lot. Also, I'm so sorry if you can hear me scribbling, but I have been drawing this whole time.
That is the story of the silent twins. They're the journalist winded up writing a book about the two, which then became a movie. I think it's available on Netflix or one of them.
Or one of them.
One of them, because we have most of them. We have most of the streamings. Tuesday was like, I'm so tired.
Oh, is it bedtime? It may be bedtime. For them. For you.
For me, it's time to go frost a cake.
I could frost it.
Well, I need to... Your father and I had a vision.
A vision?
A vision. For Gigi's cake. It's going to be a bit bougie.
What do you mean?
It's going to be all black and gold.
Oh, well, yeah, but... Like, what's the... Is that it? Is that the vision?
Black and gold, yes. We went to go to the dollar store to get party supplies, and we pulled into the parking lot, the one in, Runnings. And there was two dudes in the back of an SUV seeming to be shooting each other up. So we moved along.
I mean, I would have just went to the store. That's none of my business.
Well, we weren't going to park right next to them because that's just...
Oh, you didn't want to interrupt anything.
No, thank you. Because, I mean, if you're sitting there in broad daylight in the middle of a parking lot with the windows open, shooting each other up, you kind of have no fucks. So we will be back in September.
I suppose. Damn, September's next. I'm sorry. Time has been passing to you. I'm like, damn, like.
We hope everybody enjoys the rest of their summer. or winter, depending on where you are. We don't have any people from the Southern Hemisphere listening
But if
right now. But
somebody's
if you are, welcome.
in retrospect listening to this,
Let's also welcome Austria, because we have an Austrian listener.
Show yourself. Who are you? How did you... Austria listener.
How?
How? Yeah, that's a good question.
But hey, again, we're colonizing. I can't even say it right now. Colonizing.
Third
colonizing. Yeah, I know, it's late.
Okay. So, what do we have? Instagram, Facebook?
Email, sinisterstudypod@gmail.com.
Like, rate us, subscribe, follow.
Yeah, definitely follow us. I sometimes
on everything.
do post some questionable memes and videos on our page because we are a little creepy.
Okay. Let's see. Before we close. Okay. Before we close, let's see if you're on the podcast. Hello. If Braylon has anything to say to close us off today. Do you have anything to say? No. Meow. Meow.
I can't. On that note, everybody have a great summer. We'll be back after today.
Yeah, I guess we will be back. Okay. Adios.